There's no doubt in that. And in terms of my life's completely changed. As soon as I got cast on it, I was like, God, my life is about to change. There's no avoiding it. No matter how I do, if I leave first or I leave last, my life's about to change, because you get catapulted onto TV and you're subjected to the edit, and you don't know how you're going to be perceived at all. So, but it's been great totally great. There's some aspects that I really don't like the trolls, like the people that feel that they are RuPaul and they have to give me critique. And it's like, no, you are just an audience member. I
Indeed.
didn't ask you to tell me, oh, you've got a hair out of place. Oh, I can see your bra strap. It's like, why did you? And sometimes I just block and I get rid, but sometimes I fight back and then I go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But I just find that aspect very annoying. Everyone's an expert now in drag because they've seen it on telly,
That's
So,
true.
and I think everyone's expectations is like this drag race quality when they go to just a local show, and it's really unrealistic because we
Hmm.
spend loads of money to go on the show to look like an elevated version of us. Like I've never
Hmm.
had before Drag Race, I'd never had a single outfit made. I'd never had a wig made. I'd only been doing drag for 2 years, and one of those was COVID. So like I went into the show a real beginner in terms of drag and dressing up and all that stuff. So yeah, so my life's changed and it's been great, and I'm loving the experience post Drag Race. The support has been amazing. So yeah, exciting stuff ahead.
Well, that's fascinating to hear, and yes, I mean, RuPaul has been a game changer. Not just RuPaul, but I think there are many elements that have happened at the same time. No, as in the openness and the whole world being more acceptance in various ways. I mean, right
Mm.
now, drag is potently part of our conversation. It's so inspiring that you inspire new generations to say that this can also be a career. This is a way of living, and it's very nice to for you to be a role model. I'm sure
Mm.
you have many people approaching you saying that how much you've inspired and
Yeah.
sometimes we don't think about these things, but I'm sure there are beautiful moments. Is there a special moment that you want to share of a member of the audience telling you how much you have inspired them?
Yeah, I was at a gig a few weeks ago, and obviously I got into drag really late in my life. Like, unlike some of the girls on the show, like Crystal, she started, basically doing drag at 12.
Yeah.
I was about 30, so like I came into it real late in the game, and obviously I talked about my coming out struggles and stuff, and I had a couple of people, I think it was the same gig, and they were like, he said like, I'm 45 and I've just come out, like thanks to your story, like you really sort of helped me to realize that there's always going to be someone that's going to love, like people will always love you for who you are, and like you forget that when you're on the other side of the coming out thing. You
Hmm.
forget at the time that actually it's very normal and that
Hmm.
people aren't going to just completely get rid of you. Yes, I had a couple of people, like one girl as well, told her best friend that she was in love with them and now they're together. So I just get told of these random things that people have just been inspired, and I find that kind of weird that A, that people know who I am, and B, that I've inspired anyone. I can't get into my head that me just saying what I've done can like help other people. So that's
Yes.
a lovely feeling, but it still doesn't uh, compute in my head that's the effect of a drag show.
Yes, yes. I'm sure it is, but that also says of how humble you are, and that's also beautiful.
Ah,
That's the power of media, in my opinion. No, as in we I mean we live with all these ideas and images on the media, no, for bad or for good, and it's on us to learn how to live with them, no. But it's also empowering to have positive representations from the LGBTQ plus community on the media, on TV, on advertising,
mm,
on films, um, and that transfers into people's lives. at the festival we had the privilege of having the writer of Kinky Boots, Jeff, who joined on a panel with the producers of a Western show, and also a producer of RuPaul Drag Race, actually, who was on the panel. And we were having this nice conversation about those ones who leaded the way, and we were praising Jeff as the creator of Kinky Boots, and he was telling us the story of how, like, being one of the first drag stories in the UK, as in for commercial purposes, and how he was also edited. He wasn't able to talk about AIDS in his story, even though in the original in his story for Lola and for the surrounding people, it was important to talk about how just to purely represent the community, but he was edited at that time. But we were praising that it had to be some stories before us on the media, and there are people who lead it the way, and that's us as part of the community is important to acknowledge and to celebrate. No?
Yeah, definitely.
So, talking about films, do you have your? I really hate the question of your best film or your favorite film, because I'm sure we all have different. But can you think of your top 3 or some titles of queer films that have inspired you, or that you really love or go back to?
Queer films. Definitely Kinky Boots is one I remember from watching and be like, wow, this is really cool and really different.
Yeah. Or TV shows. I mean, we can go
TV
as far
shows,
as
I mean, recently watching It's a Sin, I thought that was really a really great show to sort of explain the struggles of the AIDS. I was going to say pandemic, the AIDS epidemic. Yeah, that was really great. I'm really bad at names. I can't remember anything. Behind the Candelabra. I know it's not like a queer film, but like that was a really fun, a really silly film.
It's camp. It's queer.
Really camp, and I thought that side of queer culture. Yeah. I think it's good to get a balance of showing like really. Oh, there was another one that was like a play that was put into a film, and I can't remember what it was called. It was about a big group of men who were at a party, but I can't remember the name. I like when
it's okay.
I like when
I don't want to put you on the spot.
I'm really bad at names. When queer culture is sort of represented in different ways, I think is really, really good, because I think we've gone from being represented as gay men as stereotypes and really sort of out there, camp, flamboyant all the time, when really there's so many different types of queer people in the spectrum of humanity. So I like when there's different representations of. I wish there was more films where being gay wasn't the main object of the character, and it just was a film without having to explain it. Yeah, it was just another story. That's what I think is lacking in films and TV in general. That
I agree.
Being gay and coming out and doing gay things is the story, rather than just being a gay person in a film having a love affair. I'd rather it just be very normal.
Yeah, a love story. Yes.
That's what I think lacks. Yeah.
Yes, and I think there are many films who are positively targeting exactly what you just said. And I also agree that queer is also an aesthetic. No, it doesn't have to be talking purely about or having queer characters from the LGBTQ plus community, but I mean there are queer films that are so camp, and it goes so into the aesthetic of the community on what we stand for and what we like, that obviously it ends up being kind of it falls down into the aesthetic, no?
Definitely. But actually, someone just said Schitt's Creek is really good at normalizing being gay, and I totally agree with that. As is, I'm watching Euphoria at the minute, and there's no it seems very normal, and people sort of really break up the boundaries of sexuality, and there's no mention of the struggles in between it, which I think is really cool.
Yes. Sam Howler is also saying the Chucky TV show, which I haven't seen. Have you seen it?
No, I don't think so. No.
No. But yeah, I mean that's the whole point, guys. Normalizing and having this conversation, and not it, for us at Reynolds, for example, we have a strand which used to be called LGBTQ plus, but we ended up having Reynolds Queer, also to embrace the aesthetic of queerness in cinema.
Yeah.
And we for example, we don't offer a prize for best queer film or best queer filmmaker, because you can be a director, you can compete to best director, you can compete to best film or best documentary or best animated short, and it shouldn't be something to rely on. But we still have a section because there's still a need to celebrate, embrace, and protect the community within the festival, and
Yeah.
that's
Definitely.
something we see.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating what you said about how you remained creative and how during pandemic and how that really took your career to the next level. No, like
Mm.
we all had difficult moments during pandemic, but is how we overcome those problems and make it a positive thing. Is there something that you would recommend to our audience members in terms of how to remain creative during pandemic or during isolation?
Well, for me, like I had gone from my creative job, my career of like 12, I think at that point it was like about 12 years. So it was devastating to be out of work during the pandemic with no idea of when, initially we thought, oh, it would be a couple of weeks, we'd be back to work. And then it just went on and on and on. And literally all I did was I'd be working at Morrison's. I think I did like 3 shifts a week. And just to keep my brain ticking, because I was getting so bored and sort of anxious and stressed and whatever, I'd just get out my makeup and just sort of try to do new looks and go on lives and stuff. So I think whatever kind of keeps you peaceful and makes you feel creative, I think you should do,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's painting, whether it's gardening, whether it's sewing, I don't know, drawing. I think whatever it is that, you know, and it evolves with time. Like I used to love painting, but now I just sort of do it on my face. Um, yeah, that's what got me through. I think just finding a time and not being afraid to be like, right, I need to just take some time out. I'm just going to go and do makeup and I'll come back later. I'll feel less stressed. That was for me. It was really good sort of stress buster as well as trying to perfect stuff because I'm always about kind of like trying to try new things and perfect them as best I can. So I think, yeah, if I hadn't done that during the pandemic, I would have just been so bored. So I had no gym to go to. I don't like working out at home, So I was just like frustrated being stuck at home. Yeah.
True, true. Well, there goes everyone. I mean, in terms of how to remain creative, we've noticed that in terms of the filmmaking community, it was the time to write stories.
Mm,
It was the time to remain creative, even though you were not being able to work with a crew, or with your mates or with your colleagues. It was a time to stay in and keep creative, and
mm,
that's the beauty of art. Not that even times of desperation, times of isolation, like the ones that we've just lived, or some of us are still living,
mm.
it's also a moment for creativity. No?
Definitely. It would be interesting to see if there's a lot of films and TV shows based on the last 2 years of isolation and pandemic, because there must be so many stories and interesting stuff that's come out of such a time. I've not so far seen much out there, but there must be some films being written as we speak based on what's been happening.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. We had one film actually at the festival, but as you say, these stories are going to be represented,
Mm.
and also how the queer community lived through a pandemic. And I'm sure that someone may be doing a film about Ella Vaday and how she became a drag queen during pandemic.
Who knows?
There's a story there, guys. There is inspiration everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated at looking at all the people who have joined us to listen. Thank
Mm.
you, everyone. And I can see that you have fans from all over the world. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. There was
They
a
really
person there
do.
from Peru.
Yeah.
Um, Now, tell us about you, as in the. Are you touring at the moment? Are there shows? Because I mean, I follow you on Instagram, and I can see that yes, there are coming up shows. Um, but where, like, for your fans and for the people listening to, what shows are you going to be having in the UK, and also are you going to be touring at all this year outside the UK?
Yeah, so I've got quite a lot going on. I'm not going to be that annoying person that's like, I can't talk about all the things, but I have got stuff going on in the background.
Good.
Like I'm going to be working with an award-winning writer on a writing project. But yeah, tour-wise, we've got the Girl Group tour in March the 10th, and that kind of goes around the UK. And then there's some other bits which aren't confirmed yet, but then the season 3 tour is in September, I think. But yeah, in between that, lots of gigs. Some things are not confirmed yet, but I tend to put them on my Insta story as they go along, and then yeah, and you'll see what I'm going, what I'm
Good,
going to
good,
be doing. I can't
good.
speak about it. It's really
Oh,
annoying,
it's all right, it's
but
all right. Can I
yeah,
tell you what Elliot Grove, our founder, who's sitting just across the room,
yeah.
um, the best answer that he says in these cases are, "I'm working on different projects on various stages of development."
Oh, very good. I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, how can people follow you? Where can we find you on social media?
Mainly here, Ella
Mainly here.
vaday, Instagram. I use Twitter now and then. I don't really like Twitter that much. And Facebook again, I don't really use Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, like, sorry, I don't really use
Sorry.
them. Instagram's the main one. I just find it, and for some reason, much nicer little community on Instagram. I find,
Yeah,
for me, Twitter is where people come with all of their angst and their opinions, and they just want to say,
yeah.
you are this, you are this, you are this,
True.
and they
Oh my
just
gosh,
keep
yeah.
going. Yeah. Yeah, that's where you'll find me, just right here.
Right here. All right. Well, there you go, guys. Follow. And what's your handle? Just at Elevate.
At Ella vaday, yeah,
At Elevate.
yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Uh-huh.
Everyone, I mean, follow Elevate, follow Rain Dance Film Festival. The festival will happen again this year, as we do every year. This is our big 30th anniversary.
Oh,
Um,
amazing.
so we hope to get you back
Yeah,
as
definitely.
Nick or as Ella or in the
Who
jury.
knows? Yeah,
Why
maybe I'll just
not?
come down the middle. I'll come as one of each.
Exactly, two faces, one of each. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Keep the creativity, keep inspiring people, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Amazing. Thank you. Lovely to speak to you and see you again. And I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
All
Ciao for
right.
now.
Bye,
Bye.
Nick. Ciao.